Welcome to this workshop about content creation and graphics in Canva. My name is Michaela Hornikova and I will be your lecturer for today. Since 2017, I have been volunteering for the NGO Erasmus Student Network in the field of communications, and for the last 2 years, I have been volunteering in the Czech NGO Czechitas, where I work as a lecturer for graphics and UX UI design. Currently, I'm working as a UX UI designer for a Czech IT company. During this workshop, you will learn how to create a perfect digital image using pictures, easy graphics and text, and how to match them to communicate your message as needed. The second part of the workshop will be dedicated to Canva, a free tool for NGOs, which can help you prepare digital materials very quickly. Once we want to tell and share a story meant by presenting our digital content, we have to follow 4 steps. First, think about the topic to present. Second, create a story that has a point. Third, prepare visually appealing materials, and fourth, use impactful and readable text that match with our design and complete a story. The definition of graphic design is quite comprehensive. Explained in my own words, graphic design is a visual communication used in presenting our vision, mission, and values to a specific audience using specific objectives. We can approach that by working with 7 basic elements of graphic design: line, shape, color, texture, type, space, and image. Before our creations start, we need to understand our visual identity. For this reason, every company and every NGO has or should have a visual identity manual. Visual identity manual is a document or a book that collects guidelines on working with logos, colors, and fonts. Vim helps us to be consistent once we communicate with the audience and showcase do's and don'ts for the sign. As I already mentioned, we follow simpler rules for graphics design, which are scale, proportions, and transparency, positive and negative space, leading colors and contrast, rules, grids and distance, fonts, typography, justification, and the last but not least, glut of information. This rule answers our question: what is the most important thing about the graphics? By scaling single elements of the composition, we can ensure that the most important will be visible. The positive, meant by feeling and connection, space, is the one which makes single elements connected. The negative space is the opposite. Once I've been told that people would rather believe in pictures than words, in the real world, icons can represent words easily if they are clear and visible. For this reason, sticking to one icon style through the design is recommended. Grids and rules helps us to keep the frame. It is worth setting the basic distance that we want to set for ourselves. For example, in a longer document such as booklet, they don't have to be perfectly proportional to each other, but they have to be proportional to the eye. And here comes the visual identity manual. Thanks to that, we know which colors we are expected to use and which colors our audience expects to see. There is just one rule. We should set one primary color and 1 or 2 secondary colors that be complementary to the primary one. We can work with their combination, set the primary color as the leading one, or use a gradient consisting of these 2. And here comes the visual identity manual handy again. This document describes the usage of fonts and their typefaces. There is an example from the NGO Erasmus Student Network. Their visual identity manual recommends using the font Kelsonsons for headings and font Lato for body text. But when it comes to theme topics, it is allowed to combine Lato with a specific font according to the topic we are presenting. If you don't know which font would fit the best, try the font matching tool. In case you are preparing printed materials for your digital campaign, such as booklets or leaflets, it is recommended to justify large blocks of text. Columns make sense when they are proportional to the spacing in the text. Pay attention to the spaces between letters and other objects. Designers like to use diagrams and charts from time to time. They are usually completing the text content, but be careful not to let them dominate the graphic. Let's first think about the content we want to present. Let's be guided by visual and reading habits. Let's establish a script hierarchy. Let us put intelligibility above attractiveness, but let us not give up completely. We should consider 2 things once we prepare a copy for our design. The first is the target group or groups we would like to approach, and the second is their behavior. A target group is a specific group of people we target by our message and digital content, represented by a persona. A persona is identified by the following: name, age, nationality, job, studies, salary, what does she or he like, what bothers her or him, how can we help them. By identifying personas of the target group, we should focus on their needs and consider why they should be following us. By understanding this, we can transform our copy and text to a shape that they can easily consume. We aim to attract our audience, catch their eye, and make them follow us. Text should be also shaped by the tone of voice. For example, communication language towards our youth differs from official partners and institutions. In general, copywriters use two concepts, IDA and IDEM. IDA focuses on attention by getting the audience curious, using catchy phrases, raising deep interest in the topic, evoking desire, and providing action. IDEM consists of getting audience curious as IDA, raising a deep interest in the presented topic, calling for action by audience, and stimulating the audience's memory to come back to us. But be aware of the so-called vampire effect. In advertising, the vampire effect refers to a captivating but detrimental phenomenon. It occurs when attention-grabbing visuals overshadow the intended message or brand being promoted. In this field, we should be able to recognize two forms of copywriting based on their use. Offline copywriting for ATL communication is different because it is one-way communication. We are not waiting for any action from our audience. It is more about using single titles. Communication is more straightforward and pushier. On the other hand, online communication is more demanding. It must be interactive because we need feedback or action from our audience. That is why we must rely on the design of online communication. Once we work on a copy in the digital world, we should also mention the text optimization. It helps us to bring the audience closer to us and be visible and searchable. The digital world is full of platforms where we want to be presented and visible. In this presentation, I prepared an example of the three most popular social media platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. Every forum needs a different approach in the form of a presentation. Facebook and LinkedIn prefer brief, catchy text accompanied by pictures, videos, or graphs. Instagram was created as a multimedia platform. Therefore, posts should be as short as possible, and the picture or video is the main catch. On the other hand, Twitter is particular. Tweets might be concise, only 140 letters, with a clear message and better an invitation or a link. Canva is a perfect tool for anyone without a proper designer or who doesn't own Adobe applications. I will shortly explain its necessary and handy functions and showcase how Canva can be helpful in our daily life. Canva Pro offers a tool to help you keep your designs consistent. With the branding tool, you can save your company's colors, logos, fonts, and pictures in one library. So every time you design, you pick and choose. Positioning is a good friend once you want to align your design or single elements with this tool. You can also move objects to the front or back and make them stand up from the design. Don't you have Photoshop, do you? With Photo Editor, you can easily adjust the picture's color, size, contrast, and brightness. Canva Pro also offers a background eraser. Canva is not just about pictures and color. Using effects on the typography, you can adjust the text in different shapes and add symbolic effects such as shadow, outline, or background. Advanced tool that allows you fit picture into selected shapes is called framing. Since we are at the end of our workshop, I want to wrap up all the information we reviewed today. Keep in mind following: layout and content puzzling. Make all elements fit together. Don't overload. Don't use many colors or pictures, not even a lot of text. Use the best quality pictures. Use RGB colors for digital purposes and SMIC for printing purposes. Think about typography, not only the copy, but also the form, such as fonts, typefaces, colors, etc. Also, I have tips to follow. First, think about what you want to create. What is the purpose of what that kind of material? Then focus on the audience you communicate to. Prepare all text and copy in advance. Think about the fonts and colors you want to implement. Find pictures, icons, etc. beforehand. It is also better to sketch your ideas on paper before you start designing to avoid lost time over digital designing. And my last word, there is something like an aesthetic sense. If you don't have it, don't be sad. It is hard work which pays off to work on. Aesthetic feeling comes with time, so do the practice and one day it will make you a master. Thank you very much.